Up to Memphis Grizzlies, iconic images. I don't know about the Grizzlies. We talked about Ja Morant putting him on the map, right? As we were working through these teams, because of his highlights. And he's definitely got them now winning games too. Um, I guess we'll sort of see how many games they'll win this year with him missing 25 games to start with. That's going to be interesting. But um, the Grizzlies are probably fall in that area where, for me at least, it's a franchise that I don't know, you get very little attention from there. You give really very little attention to. They sort of just plug along. They had this grit and grind era, which I've selected this image from, where they were competitive. And that's important, right? I think that's the part where, at least they're competitive, unlike say like the Hornets. In that sense, like, we can hardly pick anything from the Hornets that were competitive in that sort of through all the years they've been in the league. And look, again, this is an era where I think it's iconic because that's probably where we still remember him. Yeah, there's still that to me, that's still that last snapshot of Marc Gasol there, Zach Randolph, Conley at the point. There's obviously that sort of, they were playoff team every year in those that sort of era, and they just made teams work. And they ultimately didn't get that much success. They didn't go to finals or anything like that. But yeah, it's it's to me there's not much more in the Memphis sort of iconic banks besides this team.
Fun fact, when the Grizzlies beat the Spurs, that was actually their first playoff franchise series win. So this grit and grind era was the correct choice. That was the most success that they had. And to bounce off your photo, you can see Marc Gasol in your photo. My photo has Pau Gasol in it, but in a Lakers jersey, because Pau Gasol, for those that are unaware, was on the Memphis Grizzlies prior to Mark being in the league, because one of the trade parts of the Pau Gasol trade to the Lakers was Marc Gasol in some capacity. I didn't pick it for a good reason though, because with the Grizzlies, a new franchise, an expansion franchise, the Vancouver Grizzlies, if I'm getting it correct, in the late 90s. So they're very fresh. They've been pretty good. They're onto something currently. They had the grit and grind era. But they also had probably like two of the better international players on their team in the same decade, and they didn't do anything with it. And I know this is going to sound odd. The best thing that they did was give other teams a championship, because Pau Gasol goes to the Lakers and turns them into contender, and they win two. And Marc Gasol, I couldn't put two images in here, but Marc Gasol also gets traded to Toronto mid-season, leading them to have their first championship. So if I could sum up the Grizzlies really easily, what's iconic about them? They draft brothers from Spain that are all-time talents, and then give them to other teams so that they can win a championship. That's what's iconic about the Memphis Grizzlies.
I feel like a little bit harsh there on Marc Gasol that his era in Memphis, they didn't do anything with him. I think the Paul Gasol era was they drafted him. He turned into an all-star. I think he was a one-time all-star with the Grizzlies, and then it was part of that big trade to the Lakers. In that sense too, that gave the Lakers that second sort of run. But then Marc Gasol came over and anchored that grit and grind era. Yeah, I think without Marc Gasol, they don't win as many games. Let's be clear. Yeah, and he's not just the only guy there. He wasn't the superstar in that team. That play goes to Zach Randolph. Yeah, he was that 20 and 10 guy. Yeah, but the core pieces around him, really sort of was the winning formula for the Memphis over those period of years there. And I guess it's not really they did nothing with him. That's like saying like, Utah did nothing with Karl Malone or New York did nothing with Patrick Ewing. Yeah, and so on and so forth, right? And then you could pick that for every franchise. Orlando did nothing with Dwight Howard. Okay, it's just they didn't get the success that they wanted, I think. And then they go somewhere else, they win a ring. Dwight got his ring now, and obviously Marc Gasol got his ring with Toronto. I think one of the funniest things actually with the Toronto ring is that Jeremy Lin got his ring and Carmelo never got one, right? That's a fun fact there with that everything that ended up there and how Toronto got that first ring in franchise history. But yeah, look, I think again, you probably agree with me here. The Memphis Grizzlies was somewhat limited in some of the choices here. I think in regards to iconic moments. I don't know. I can't even pick a game winner here, for example, for the Grizzlies.
This is two guys with spare time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.